Every evening, just before the sun dipped below the horizon, an old man would carry his wooden chair to the window. From that spot, he could see the narrow road that snaked its way out of the village. It was the same road his son had walked down years ago, with nothing but a small bag and a heart full of big dreams. The old man's legs trembled now, but his routine was unwavering. He would sit, adjust the worn shawl around his shoulders, and place his mobile phone carefully in his palm, as if it were a fragile, living thing. The phone was always fully charged. The volume was always turned up to its highest setting. He didn't trust his ears anymore, but he trusted the phone. He knew that just one ring was all it would take. One single ring, and the long, silent days would suddenly feel shorter. His son lived in the city. He had a good job, a busy life, and very little time. That's what the neighbors told him, and that's what the old man repeated to himself whenever the silence in the house became too heavy to bear. The last message from his son still rested on the screen. It was unread, but it was never deleted. It said, "Tomorrow I'll call you Dad. Promise." Tomorrow came and went quietly. Then another tomorrow. Then weeks folded into months, and the months turned into seasons. The phone never rang. The old man never complained. He never asked why his son didn't call. Instead, he simply waited. He waited with the kind of profound patience that only someone who believes waiting itself is a form of love can understand. Whenever a phone rang in a nearby house, his head would lift instantly, his heart skipping a beat. Whenever his own screen lit up even, if it was just for a spam call or a company message, his eyes would fill with a soft, fragile hope. And every single time the screen went dark again, a little something inside him did too. The neighbors were kind. They often stopped by, bringing fresh vegetables from their gardens, asking about his health, and sometimes, gently, asking about his son. "When is he coming home?" they would ask with concerned smiles. The old man always offered a smile of his own. Soon he would reply, his voice steady. "He's just very busy. The city is like that, you know?" At night, he would place the phone right beside his pillow. He was afraid that if he slept too deeply, he might miss the call he was so desperate to receive. On some nights, when sleep refused to come, he would whisper softly into the darkness, as if the phone could carry his words to his son. "I'm fine, son," he would say. "You don't have to worry about me. Just call once. Just let me hear your voice." With time, his body grew weaker. His hands shook more, and the short walk to the window took longer each day. But his waiting never weakened. It remained strong, steady, and stubborn, like a sacred promise he had made to himself. One evening, as the sky bled into shades of orange, and the road outside remained empty, the phone slipped from his tired fingers and fell to the floor. The screen cracked, a thin scar spreading across the glass. The sound echoed in the small, quiet room. For a moment, the old man just stared at it, surprised. Then he slowly leaned back into his chair. He didn't bend down to pick it up. He was tired. But more than that, he was still waiting. The night passed in silence. No calls, no messages. Just the steady ticking of the old wall clock and the distant barking of dogs. The next morning, the neighbors noticed something was wrong. The old man's window was open, as always, but he hadn't come out. When they entered the house, they found him sitting in his chair, facing the road. His eyes were closed. His face was calm. The phone lay near his feet, its cracked screen catching the morning light. He looked peaceful, as if he had finally fallen asleep while waiting. Later that day, far away in the bustling city, the son finished a long, stressful meeting. His phone buzzed with reminders and a dozen missed notifications. As he stepped outside, a strange, inexplicable feeling tugged at his chest. He took a deep breath and, on an impulse, dialed his father's number. The phone rang and rang. He frowned, a flicker of annoyance turning into concern. He tried again, and then again. A heavy, unfamiliar silence settled around him. By the time the son arrived home, the house was already full of people. The chair by the window was empty. The phone lay on a small table, its cracked screen dark and silent. He picked it up with shaking hands. He stared at the last message he had sent, the broken promise glowing faintly on the screen. And for the first time, he understood the true, devastating cost of that silence. If you still have someone to call, don't wait for tomorrow. Make that call today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more stories that touch the heart.